as the official cult leader of
Hey.
I thought it was only right to have
Huh?
it be a
Yes,
Kill him, Kai.
Cam just
Kill him.
a specific shot. The Miami Dolphins, it's been officially announced by their Twitter page.
Yo.
The Miami Dolphins have hired Mike McDaniel to be the next head coach of the franchise. He will be the 14th coach, I think the 11th actual hired head coach. We've had 3 interim coaches. It is official. I feel like I've been running a cult leadership for the past 4 weeks, posting anything I possibly can to make this happen and make this true. Boys, how are y'all
Congratulations,
feeling?
Kai. Congratulations, Kai. This is your moment to shine. I hope it's as fulfilling as I imagine it to be.
It's
Um,
amazing.
Listen, bro, you made the graphics. I mean, weeks ago. We've been, dropping them throughout Twitter, and listen. And let me just say something, Kai. I think all your graphics beat whatever the Dolphins just put out. And that's no bias at all, bro.
Yo, I mean, shit. I'll take it. I'll take it. But it's amazing. Like the story has just become true. We also have Jacob joining us. Oh shit, we got royalty. All right, so we
You.
are
Yeah.
full pack. So I want to start, I guess, with you, Juan. Since although we do have Kendall and Threat here, we're more so the two that are the main Dolphins contributors for the network. How do you feel thus far with Mike McDaniel? I know there were some rumors about Kellen Moore potentially having a staff lined up, and then it seemed 25 minutes later, the announcement came from Adam Schefter at the end of the Pro Bowl show as well. It was like as soon as the Pro Bowl show ended, he was announced to be the next head coach. How do you feel about Mike McDaniel?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm feeling your hype, bro. So maybe I'm letting it, energize me. I'll definitely say that going into it, I thought we would get like an announcement like right in the middle of third quarter that we're getting like Thomas Brown or somebody. Like it just I never knew what we were really gonna do. As much as we had like guys like Schultz saying that it was like a 10-hour interview, even though it wasn't, but then it was. But no, I think ultimately for me it's just, let's just, start, bro. Let's start somewhere. Let's figure out how the 2022 Miami Dolphins are going to start looking like. We have our coach, we have our quarterback. And now it's just about building, the staff, which we obviously all agreed that it was one of the major points of Brian Flores as being fired. So let's see who he's able to bring in. Let's hope it's people that are with experience as far as with the old line. Let's hope it's somebody with experience as far as the defensive coordinator. And congratulations to Mike McDaniel's being minority hire? Question mark.
Thumbs down. Thumbs down.
But he is not. We're not going to run that. We're not going to spin that sort of narrative here on this show.
Logic.
That's for others that like to try to spin. And a certain, I think Joe Shadow retweeted. There's a bunch of people that have always done it. Wait, before anything, of course.
I got you.
So
So thank you to Unidentified Celebrity Review for the $5 dono. Consistency is key, ladies and gentlemen. Just like clockwork, my boy in here. Duncan is a bum. Still works here, right? Like a clock, 12 times. It's always right, baby. Let's do it.
So I guess just out of that, Royal as well, we'll get your input here on Mike McDaniel. Obviously, we all haven't done a standard show about strictly just Dolphins news since the end of the year. Of course, there's a lawsuit by Brian Flores, but now the Dolphins have a new head coach. What are your thoughts on Mike McDaniel and his being hired by the Dolphins?
You see it in my name. He ain't no Flores, but I guess we gonna see. That's essentially where I am. We'll see where he is. We'll see if we can build the staff.
You good, Royal?
Hold on, bro. I think my mic is picking up from a different source.
It is indeed.
Okay, I got you. Hold on.
All right, so we're gonna throw it really quickly to Kendall, and then we'll get Jacob.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Is it better?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So like I was saying, like he ain't no Flores, but I guess we'll take what we can get. I guess he was number one on your board for sure, Kai. So that makes me happy that you got your guy. But we'll see. Like he took Jimmy G to NFC Championship game. We'll see what he can do with Tua. They say he came here with a plan, wants a quicker offensive game. with him, and I think that works into his favor. So I was hard on the Dolphins for getting rid of Flores, but I do intend on giving Mike McDaniel a shot to prove that he's worth the hire. So until he shows me otherwise, then I'm rooting for the man to be successful. And if he not, don't worry, I'll be all over his ass.
You mentioned the 49ers style of offense and being able to win with Jimmy Garoppolo. We have one Kendall up in the top right corner that is a huge fan of bringing Jimmy Garoppolo in to compete with Tua Tagovailoa. So now that you have the coach that was able to do stuff with Jimmy Garoppolo, do you think you can replicate that success with Tua, Kendall?
Absolutely not. Tua is a bum in my eyes, and I'm not coming off of it until I have reasons to think otherwise. I think that some friendly competition, some good competition is definitely needed. And I know this ain't no Jimmy G conversation, but we definitely don't trade for that boy. Fuck that. I saw that they wanted like a second and a third round pick or something plus a player. We're not doing that. I think that would
I'll
be.
send them Jesse Davis and a third.
And they ain't getting a third out of me. But in terms
no, you giving them a third to take Jesse Davis.
Facts, bro.
Hey.
You think that this isn't gonna? I guess and anyone can get involved, both Threat and Jacob, especially since we're kind of getting to you guys last. Like, you don't think that this is a chance for Tua to kind of be unlocked a little bit, or do you think this is kind of that 1 year? If he can't prove it, you got 2 Fritz next year, and you do what you got to do. And I'll start with you, Threat.
Yeah, I definitely. For one, I want to say I'm a heavy run game advocate. I love the run game, ground and pound. Every Dolphins game I go to, I'm up there screaming, "Please run the ball! Please run the ball!" So, as far as Tua goes, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's gonna unlock. He might become better. He might not. I don't know if he can unlock it. Every guy that we bring in here, they say is a quarterback whisperer until they get on the field, and then such and such, whatever happens. I don't know. I don't know if he can unlock him, but I am excited that, okay, if he doesn't work out this 1 year, next year we do have two ones to get this right, get it situated, try to figure something out, have a game plan, and possibly, you might not know, maybe we do trade for a guy this year, maybe we do draft somebody, Malik Willis, or just a name to throw out there, but we'll see what we do. But I am excited about what he can possibly do to this offense as far as the run game goes.
Jacob, you've been sitting in the bottom left, looking very idle, very dark in your room. How do you feel about Mike McDaniel?
I may not show it with my body language, but I'm very happy with the hire. I think he was Miami's best bet at coach once Dable went to the Giants. I think that this is the best that the Dolphins are going to get at this point. He's been described as from his peers and coaches and players as out of the box thinker, a savant in his field. And I think that really speaks dividends because he is a head coach of the Dolphins knowing that Tua is probably going to be quarterback for this next season. And I think that also speaks dividends because he has confidence in Tua and that he's going into the head coaching position knowing that Tua is our guy and he's going to help him. Same with Jalen Waddle, who I think people are saying is going to be used like Deebo Samuel a little bit. I just think Mike McDaniel is a fresh breath of air for this organization, and he has a lot of potential.
So, I guess just strictly, there were so many, and I'll go around because yes, we've been talking about the potential and then asking kind of thoughts and everything. Do we feel satisfied? And I guess anyone can jump in with this, with the head coaching hire, with the process that it took. It's now February 6th. We fired Flores right after the last game of the season. Do we think that we're satisfied with this hire, or could we have wanted more? Keeping Flores out of the topic of conversation, of course, because unfortunately he was fired. Like, are you satisfied that at the end?
I would probably say, in my opinion, no. And that's just as of right now, not knowing who he's going to bring in as far as the staff. I think if your biggest issue with Flores was staff and obviously, being mean, I think Dan Quinn probably would have solved the first issue. I don't know if Dan Quinn's a meanie though. But I think Dan Quinn would have been my guy just because I would have known for a fact he's bringing in a star-studded staff. And if it's not already star-studded, it's future stars like Mike McDaniel himself, right? So I think my only real concern at this point is going to be who is he bringing along, who's going to believe in his vision, because he is a young guy. He's going into a situation where he's going to be forced on a quarterback, a GM, and potentially an entire defensive staff. So who knows? I mean, are we gonna look at him negatively if he decides to clean house on the defensive staff? That's really my only thoughts right now.
And really quickly on the both Mike McDaniel side of things, talking about, because I know if you could put one of those up, Royal, the 1 year OC things. Mike McDaniel, to his credit, has been coaching in the NFL for 15 seasons. He's coached with, and this is per CK Parent, obviously Chris Kaufman, everyone knows him from 3YPC. Coached with 118 different coaches. He's had multiple stops at different NFL franchises. It seems like everywhere he goes, whether it's him or Shanahan, you can debate. Quarterback has their best year of their career. And of course, a lot of people, kind of contribute a lot of what RG3's initial success was to him and to Shanahan and that offense that they were able to run. So there is nothing here along the lines of someone who isn't a seasoned coach. He has coached for multiple years. It's not like the, situation with Moore where he's been an OC for 3 years. And I don't know about you guys, but I personally felt with Moore, he has had Dak the past 3 years. You never know how that could look, and then everything with the Cowboys just sucks in general. But Threat, you mentioned before the show of some guys that he might, or that you might be looking for him to bring along. I think you mentioned like a 49ers defensive coordinator. I know you were trying to figure out how to pronounce his name, but how, do you think that person is someone that they could bring along with him, excuse me?
Yeah, and my bad if I'm butchering his name, but Chris Kuricek, I don't know, maybe I'm completely butchering that last name, but he's the defensive line coach for the 49ers. A lot of the 49ers fans are very, 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 very high on this guy. A lot of them felt like maybe he can be the next guy after, their current coordinator, if he takes the job next year, would eventually fill into that role. A lot of the guys in that fan base and in that whole community are very high on him. I like what he's done with their defensive line. Even though our defensive line is our strong suit, I would love to see him with a Jalen Phillips, less, backing up into coverage and more actually going after the quarterback. So I'm extremely excited for that one name in particular. So that's the main name that I'm looking for out of all the coaches that they might potentially pair with him and his staff.
Just a quick Twitter search and scrolling through, I see a lot of 49ers fans asking for Mike McDaniel to not bring him along with him to Miami. That is kind of a hard name. Chris Kokorek is the only way I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that name.
That's the only way I can think of. Is there anyone that you can think of, Jacob, that you would want to bring along that it just is there? There's guys like Wes Welker that are there. Is there anyone that you would think that he could bring with him, or will he try to hire guys like one of the comments mentioned, maybe like Pep Hamilton or something like that?
Right. Yeah, I haven't really done research in that, but I also saw some reports saying that there's going to be I don't know if he's going to bring in new hires or keep some of the same coaches, especially on the defensive side, because the defense wasn't really broken the second half of the season. They were playing like Super Bowl caliber defense, and the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I think McDaniel takes a hard look at that defensive side and says, wait a second, this defense it has a lot of potential. It's doing really well, and focus more on the offensive side and bring some new coaches in from that side of the football.
Juan, anything on your side of that? Is there anyone that you're looking at that could come in? I know you're a man with a lot of opinions, so that's why I want to ask.
Yeah, thank you, Kai. I appreciate that lovely intro. No, I'm just, I'm kind of just, taking it all in about the first minority hire for the entire cycle of coaches. But no, I think Mike Patine is a good option for the defensive side of the ball. I think Wink was interviewing for the defensive coordinator position for the Giants. That's another good name.
Petting, bro. Petting.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
I was gonna say.
But no, I think ultimately I'm just very adamant about if Mike wants to come in and say, nah, I want my guys to be, running the defense. I don't want no issues. I don't want, I'm not going to look at it negatively. What?
let him pick his own staff, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. This is his first go around, and I don't think it's going to be in anybody's benefit to tell him what he should or should not do with his staff. If he feels like he has somebody better for the defensive side of the ball, hey, by all means, make your decision, bro. This is your team, this is your vision, and we're just here to kind of make fun of it. Or me.
Just to quickly put this out, Tuhan on, I guess it just never fails. Tweet out on February 4th. February 6, 2022. It is February 6, 2022, and the Miami Dolphins hired Mike McDaniel. Hey.
I think they just paired that with the, you know what I'm saying, more.
Kai, I will
interviews
tweet.
done,
I will
and then the
tweet a
next
date
day-
every single day for the rest of my life,
Crazy.
and then make it fit whatever narrative you want it to.
You have things to try to fit every narrative that could ever be possible.
I think we should just get Tua on the show and just call it a day.
I mean,
Well, we would just we could just call Hussam and just have him talk. I mean, it's at this point.
This is true. So he has been on Donald's show, and if you ever want to see stuff with like any other Dolphin stuff, especially from myself, Juan, Royal, and Michael Christian, who is currently MIA for other reasons, you can follow The Extra Yard. We'll be going live every single Thursday for the foreseeable future at 8 p.m. So you can subscribe to the channel and make sure that you can see as much Dolphins content as possible coming out from us. Kendall, I know you're someone as well. I mean, I bring up the Jimmy Garoppolo stuff just to kind of tease a little bit, but you are someone that does want to kind of get rid of as many players as possible and bring different ones in. Is there anyone that you are kind of looking at in free agency that you think would fit Mike McDaniel's style of offense that you would badly want them to go and get?
At wide receiver, I know a lot of people might not like it, but Juju. Because Mike McDaniel, I saw a video he made emphasis being let's not confuse which black brother is speaking. So
but I agree. We're gonna need blocking wide receivers.
Yeah, we're gonna need blocking wide receivers, and he puts an emphasis on
5'9", 172.
All he gonna do is just TikTok all day, man. Pack him up,
bro.
Very high emphasis.
The man can block. You want a run game. You want a run game.
Plus, y'all the two biggest advocates to get rid of Mike Gesicki, and we know he on block. So I mean,
exactly,
listen,
bro.
Yeah,
Juju can block, bro, for a receiver. I mean, and if you want to be a running team, you're gonna have to block on them edges, bro. Like
facts. I'm just trying to figure out who's gonna be our Trent Williams, right? Like I'm trying to see who's gonna be, motioning in as
right
a
there, right there in the corner. Roy A. Shepherd.
Hey, Roy's
my brother on
some blocks out there. I lean back.
I'm pancaking me a few holes. Ain't even no question, bro.
Yeah, we ain't talking Waffle House. Fuck you, man.
No, sir.
So
I do.
You said
Flapjacks.
Just to bring that up, you are good with you. I know Threat. I mean, you said just the TikTok stuff, but Mike McDaniel has emphasized, and that's some of the videos that were circulating from like QB Collective of him talking about how much his offense and Mike Shanahan's offense, and of course, it's just all kind of they emphasize wide receivers being able to block, being able to be valuable to the running game. Is it just the TikTok side that you're mad with Juju because he's a great slot and he can block?
It's mainly that I'm a fan of another guy, and I know he's coming off what would be a major injury right now, but he's also a great blocker, a way better blocker, I think, than Juju, and that's Godwin, obviously. So I'm just more of a fan of Godwin than I am of Juju.
Yeah, no, for sure. But we're talking about like from $6 million to like $22 million.
It's definitely a huge gap. But in my my narrative, I'm not paying Mike Gesicki, so there's some money to free up right there. So
fair.
So you're not bringing Mike back at all?
Absolutely not. I'm not a Mike Gesicki fan at all. I like my guys that could block. There's other guys who they've drafted who they possibly believe in. I don't know. If they believed in Gesicki like that, I don't think they pay that many tight ends, and I also don't think they drafted a tight end like that. So he splits a lot of his snaps with a couple of these tight ends. So I don't know, man. I'm just not a Gesicki guy at all. Disappears a lot, especially with Tua, and I know a lot of people are Tua guys.
George Pickens is a fucking dog on the edges, bro, blocking. Like from Georgia, yeah, he is. He's like that.
Is there anyone, Jacob, just to get you back into the conversation as well, anybody that you're looking at any position, doesn't have to be wide receiver, it could be offensive lineman. Of course, all of us, want him to cut Jesse Davis. If he gets cut, he'll probably, go into the Hall of Fame, Mike McDaniel, in terms of being an NFL head coach. So is there anyone that you're thinking of that he can bring in to fit his system?
I think there's a lot of reports this offseason already with the Calvin Ridley potential trade. I think it'd be like if we could get Calvin Ridley in here, that would be an amazing upgrade to this offense. Obviously, just a lot of rumors with Devontae Parker getting shopped this offseason. Curious to see what Mike McDaniel thinks about that, what he thinks of Devontae Parker as a player. But more weapons on offense for Tua. I mean, I know we emphasized it last year with Fuller, who didn't make barely any appearances on the field, but someone like Fuller who doesn't get injured as much as him, that could make some pretty breakthrough plays on this offense.
And one thing to ask, because it was just mentioned in the comments, and I know it's Juan's favorite player to mispronounce the name of, Lynn Bowden Jr. is.
It's just LBJ, bro. It's just LBJ, the original LBJ.
You know, Lynn Bowden Jr. has been someone that's been talked about heavily as someone that could benefit from this style of offense. A lot of people thinking that he can try to fit the Deebo Samuel mold. I think trying to expect anyone to be Deebo Samuel is a bit of a stretch, but do you think that
it triggers people to hear that, right? Because Deebo's a fucking unicorn, bro. Like there's not many like him, right? But having said that, last year or 2 years ago now, when they actually had Lynn Bowden Jr., he was moving from backfield to slot, from slot to backfield. He was that X weapon, and I was personally excited to see him actually take a step forward with Tua this year. Now with McDaniel, you kind of expect him. You kind of expect Waddle. Maybe if we bring back Albert Wilson, you expect these like gadget players to kind of have solid roles, and to be a little more defined as far as like a plan for the running game. A lot of the times during last year, it just looked like we were kind of like, yeah, we're gonna try to run and we're just gonna run it 20 times, and whatever we get, we get. To whereas with McDaniels, I expect a more concerted effort with the run game.
Kendall?
Well, I mean, shit.
Shout out to my boy.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Oh, I was gonna say shout out to my boy Brian.
Yeah, I actually know what that is. There you go.
But what am I gonna do with my Tua jersey? I mean, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do
with a Ryan Tannehill jersey. Same thing. I mean, listen,
hey, I still have my Tannehill jersey. It's just
I'm gonna make you into a Waddle jersey.
Tua was my first jersey purchase ever, and I doubled up on it as well.
Damn,
it's all cool. You know, I might, wear it at the crib. You know,
to the gym. You get a.
I'm gonna keep mine because shit.
That's motivation.
The government bought mine.
Audition year though.
My dog.
The government bought mine. You feel me? Like, so I'm chilling. I ain't finna feel no type of way. I ain't have to work for that money that I purchased it with.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw it away because if I throw it, it's not gonna go far anyway. So at the end of the day, it's all cool.
Jacob, you all the Tua hate. What were you saying?
I mean, I'm a very neutral guy in this Tua hate, Tua stan stuff. I think you can make a valid argument that he's not had any chance, no offensive line, no offensive coaching, or barely offensive coaching. But I think this is his final year, his final shot to prove why he needs to be the franchise quarterback. I think after this year, there's not much argument if he lets us down once again.
So damn. So you sit in the middle then. You're kind of just on the side of
me too.
Look what poverty he's had to deal with his whole career. Like I think this is his one. Like Mike McDaniel's an offensive-minded head coach. This is his last. You could say like his last dance per se.
His final fucking excuse. That's what you don't want to say, Jacob. I'll say it for you. It's his final fucking excuse. There is no more excuses. You gave him Waddle. You gave him a top defense. You gave him an offensive mastermind. If it ain't this year, bruh, sorry, Tua, it's gonna be with another team and another coach. Because, bro, we got 2 first-round picks, and we got a new head coach, bro. We can't be forced on Tua for too long.
And what I want to say is, then to the Jimmy G point, why would you force Tua onto Mike McDaniel? Like he had his easy year last year where he didn't have no competition going into training camp. Brissett wasn't no real competition. So it's like, bro, bring somebody in who can legitimately threat his position. Every other position on this roster does it. Like everybody got to deal with that in the league. What makes the Silver Surfer so special that he don't have to deal with any competition.
The who?
He
Silver
said the
Surfer.
Silver Surfer.
Who
The
hell's
Hawaiian
Silver-
roll.
Oh, that's what we call him. I'm gonna privately message you what I call him.
He said Silver Surfer, like it's a Kanye West song. So damn, Royal. What are your thoughts, man? You haven't been speaking too much.
Yeah, because you ain't throwing me no questions, Couch and Chisholm. I'm just
Listen,
saying.
bro, Lil Royal's in the background screaming right now. So
Yeah, he is, bro. He's having the time of his life.
He's excited for Mike McDaniel.
No, that's not the case at all. He got Spider-Man floating all around here. But no, look, I'm the least knowledgeable on the panel, so I would expect to have the least amount to say here. So, and I'm cool with that. If you don't get this man an offensive line, none of this run game, none of these wide receivers, none of this stuff that you guys are talking about, all this razzle dazzle, like it ain't gonna do nothing for the Dolphins. I think in order to implement the scheme that he was able to implement in San Francisco, he had great offensive linemen. I think Alf made a really good point about them picking up Trent Williams, and you have Armstead sitting out here in free agency. You need to go get this man a legitimate offensive lineman. You guys should quit trying to compare the Dolphins receivers to Deebo Samuel, because essentially he created like a new position for Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel isn't really a wide receiver or running back or anything over there in San Fran. The way that they use him was really unique, and I don't think you have anybody of that mold here who can do those same kinds of things. So just kind of focus on what he can do. You need to get him an offensive line. You need to get him a real running back so that you guys can begin to see what he wants to do, because other than that, he's just going to fail like everybody else with Tua.
Damn. Yeah. That was a statement of all statements there by Roy A. Shepard. What if they bring on Devontae Adams?
Listen,
This does not matter.
Hey, when you do that, then all of a sudden you cook it with some grease catch here, Chisholm. That man fixes all L's on offense.
Damn, I was about to even ask too, because we just gotta ask, because
Listen. First of all, Dolphins fans better not come at me about nothing that happened in the playoffs, because y'all bitches wasn't there to see it in the first place.
We were there. We were in the couch.
Exactly. Y'all hoes is not Green Bay. But just being honest, bro. Yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers. You get used to it after a while. Yep, appreciate it, King. Well, go ahead, King.
I mean, I think I'm in this situation of I still am trying to host while also at the same time being just so elated. Everyone here knows I've just been the main contributor to the Mike McDaniel hype. I have in my freaking bio for I feel like the past 3 or 4 weeks, leader of the Mike McDaniel hype. I've been trying to run a cult following with this, so I feel like the fact that we finally got him is great, and I'm just super excited about it. I'm through the moon with this.
Me too.
I swear to God, I thought it was going to end up being Kellen Moore. I would have been fine with it being Kellen Moore, as much as I would have not had preferred it. But
there would have been a riot on here if it had been Kellen Moore.
It would have been. It would have been.
It would have been a party on here, boy. I would have been leading the Kellen Moore train. Because every time this team think they get it right.
Every time this fan base is all united in one decision, it's usually
the wrong way.
The worst possible decision.
This is kind of the only decision we've been united on, at least Twitter-wise, since 2020 NFL draft, and we know what happened there. So are you saying that Dolphins fandom is both wrong on Mike McDaniel and Tua Tagovailoa?
I'm going to...
You're one that says 5 years is the time for him to be in his claim of fame.
For who?
Tua.
No.
Tua's off the train now?
Tua is not getting 5 years. Oh, well, no. Yeah, okay, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. No, for sure. I still think Tua will be a good...
Sorry, all of us. Every single person.
That would have been
the right. If it was reported that Vance Joseph and Mike McDaniel were the two finalists, we would have all known that Vance Joseph would have been head coach. He would have kept Jesse Davis, and we would all be crying.
This is actually the fact that Vance Joseph Joseph didn't come is kind of hope for me that maybe Chris Greer doesn't have as much power as we think. Because man, I just want Mike McDaniel to thrive. If he just can't work with with Chris Greer because he's not a people person or he's a meanie, we got to make sure the culture's straight and we're consistent.
Yeah, I will say this, if the Vance Joseph thing, of course we know he would have been a bad head coach, but we would have had a completely different agenda on this show if that man had gotten hired.
What do you mean?
No, I should ask that question.
I think I'm just gonna leave it at that for now because we've been told.
I think I can eloquently speak to it.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I am pro-black, and I'm all for putting black men in positions of power. If Vance Joseph would have been the head coach, he would have got my undying support because I love to see my people thrive.
Oh.
So
And
I
to-
do.
That's much better than I thought you would. That's much cleaner than what I thought you was.
I thought that was gonna go real left real quick.
I'm a versatile.
Shut me up, Kane. I appreciate it.
I do want to ask just because, and I'm one that has said, and I will continue to say that I feel like this should not be considered a minority hire, though of course the NFL will consider it a minority hire. Mike McDaniel's father is black. They said that I think there's a pick compensation, if I'm not mistaken. I know 2/3 that will have to be given to the San Francisco 49ers for this.
Not from the Dolphins, though. Not from the Dolphins. Yeah.
From the NFL as like compensation picks. We have to talk about it. It was brought up a little bit earlier. I feel like we do have to talk about it because that has been part of a bunch of tweets I've seen from Adam Schefter, Tom Pelissero, and multiple other people and Dolphins beat writers in the situation that we're in. And let's also tread lightly. We've already done a stream about this, I believe, last week when it was dropped with the Brian Flores lawsuit with the NFL, the class action lawsuit that he filed in the Brooklyn court, I believe, or Manhattan court, one of the two, I can't remember, in somewhere in New York. How do we feel, I guess, about the kind of claim that this is a minority hire? I obviously don't agree with this, but how does everyone else kind of feel about that?
Tread lightly has become a new favorite phrase of Kachi and Chisholm's, particularly when he's talking to us about
the extra yard.
Yeah, about the extra yard, especially when we're talking about matters of race. I'm not going to say anything about the question in itself because what I'm going to say is going to be the exact opposite of treading lightly. But I'm going to let them do whatever they do. I'm going to let them have this if they want to have it. But my personal opinion is not he is who he is.
I just thought we should bring it up.
I listen. I'll just I'll kind of just add to it. I listen to logic. Whether whatever he wants to claim himself to be, I have no personal preference, and if I enjoy his music, it's because I enjoy his music. If I enjoy Mike McDaniel because he's a good coach, it's not because he's white or biracial or black. It's he's just a good coach. So shout out to Logic.
23andMe.
I think Lynn Bowden agrees with the shout out there.
There we go. Let's get it rolling, bro.
That's good. I just had to bring it up just because I wasn't necessarily going to bring it up on stream, but it has been tweeted out by multiple beat writers down here in Miami. It's been tweeted out by multiple people, and so it does seem like this is going to be a topic of conversation. And apparently, I have to find the tweet again, but apparently it does quote fill a minority hire spot after the firing of Brian Flores. So
which is blasphemous, to be honest.
Something that will come up multiple times. But just as it is a topic of conversation, I mean, I guess just to go around, is there much more that we want to kind of touch on with this? I feel like it's about damn time. Now we have to worry about the assistant coaches. Is there anything else that we want to touch on? And Jacob, is there anything from you?
I mean, you just look at his resume, like you see the experience he has in the NFL. The resume speaks for itself. I guess the only thing that you could question is his experience in a leadership role type. You could argue offensive coordinator, of course, leadership role. Like you were in charge of the offense to an extent or full extent. I guess people are just going to question his leadership and uniting everyone as a head coach. And I think that's what he's going to have to prove this year. The knowledge, the sports knowledge, the football knowledge all speaks for itself. Like I'm really excited about that stuff. But it's going to be, is he going to be able to unite the locker room like Flores did and basically have these players play for him and run through a brick wall for him?
That brings up a great conversation. Does anyone think that he'll be able to command the locker room? That he'll be able to keep everything going?
Hell yeah, that nerd's gonna be chiefing it up with all them boys. Yeah, we gonna be lit before game, we gonna be lit during game, we gonna be lit after the game. We getting lit. Miami, we gonna be the hub of everything that's going on down here. We might have like futuristic medical doctors with CBD enhancements on field. Like I am fully prepared for no one to tear an ACL in Miami. Like I am ready. Let's go.
Factual evidence would say that I started the swag.
Kai.
All right.
He like, how long have you been having that in the chamber, bro?
I just saw it on Twitter.
Y'all call that a black man? Listen,
Yeah, that's a what hire?
I just saw that on Twitter. I like literally just saw it on Twitter.
What about like
Really
these media questions now, like after games, like during press conferences? I think he's going to be more. He could be more transparent than Flores. He certainly looks to have, like, no disrespect to Flores, but maybe more of a personality on the stand when he gets asked questions.
No, for sure. He has a little more spunk, but you know, I'd also like to see how he looks after 1-7. I don't think anybody would look that happy or that, you know, cheerful or trying to be explaining shit at 1-7. But for sure, no, I definitely see him having more of a personality. I don't think, or I'm hoping that it's not like, you know, CIA, NSA, you know, type shit going on in Miami Dolphin land. And we'll be able to have a coach that you can legitimately ask him X and O questions, and say, hey, look, you know, what happened with this lead ISO run on 3rd and 2, and, you know, have like a back and forth. Because, you know, with Flores, it was just like, yep, we decided to run, it didn't work, and that's it.
This is a good. There was one that came up a little bit that I had brought up with this one. I think that's the main question now for Mike McDaniel. The Dolphins were 1 game away 2 straight years. He's going to have, I would assume, a lot of pressure in terms of this team is considered right there. They fired a coach that, as Jacob mentioned, seemingly had most of the locker room. We're not going to get into some of those reports. Now he's got to kind of prove it. Now he's got to get them over that hump. Is he going to be the guy that will get him over that hump? That's, I feel like, the biggest question here. I'll throw that to you, Threat.
Man, it's hard to say, mainly because in theory, we hope that we become an explosive offensive team that can put up over 23, 24 points a game. But what are we hanging our hat on as far as a team? Yeah, we have the players on defense, but everything at the end of the day, it has to be schemed correctly, because we had the same group of players in the first half of the season, and they looked like a completely different team in the second half of the season, and that was a whole scheme thing. So we have the players. Can he coach the defense? Can he put a staff together that can coach the defense and put them in the right schemes? Hopefully, a wink, maybe we can get him. But it's mainly the staff that he puts together that I'm holding my hat on and seeing if he can do something with the staff. And maybe then I can say, okay, yeah, we can continue on what Flores already built, similar to like how Mark Jackson built Golden State and then Steve Kerr took over. That's what I'm hoping that Mike McDaniel will be able to do with the Dolphins.
Damn, you're giving like some huge expectations there. Kind of in that switch of it's similar to like Dungy and Gruden as well, to like bring the football aspect to it, like building a roster and then someone else coming in and eventually winning with said roster.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many times are we going to do this rebuilding thing? You know what I'm saying? The expectation for him right now is not a total rebuild. He has players there. He has some talent there. A lot of people feel like he has the quarterback there. I don't understand why the expectation will be to go backwards a lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we won 9 games. I don't know exactly. Maybe I'm hoping for playoffs, but let's see, man. I don't know.
19 was out there in the Pro Bowl today dropping passes. We don't speak that.
That boy's so mad.
Man.
That game was terrible.
It was
They had
awful.
Mac Jones as a Pro Bowl QB. Like,
when Juan is disagreeing with Mac Jones being a Pro Bowl quarterback, that's when you know there's a problem. That man's Mac Jones' biggest fan.
they were playing two-hand touch
the
whole game
because his team was good, and the Patriots don't have a rebuild year. They just another playoff team. So
I mean, I guess last year was technically their rebuild year. You know, there is that kind of situation.
I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll be the Debbie Downer of the group. I personally, and I say that like I don't like being it, but
wait, really quick, because I feel like I know what you're gonna talk about. You have been very steadfast. You and Alf have gone at it as well about this specific topic that I think you're going to mention, because I know you expect the defense to have an extreme downfall this season compared to what it was before. Is that where you were going to, or did I jump the gun on something else?
No, I guess that's part of it. For me, I just don't think a rookie head coach is like expectations should be playoffs or bust. I think that that's something that you kind of build yourself into. Who's to say like he doesn't struggle to build a staff? Who's to say he, struggles with the run game and trying to replicate the results? Like, I feel like if we're just so adamant and so black and white that it's just going to be copy and paste from last year and you're just adding an offensive mastermind, I personally don't see it as being that simple and as that easy. I think there's a lot other factors that go into it, especially on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to proven veterans at this point with Xavier Howard, Christian Wilkins, and then you got a whole group of young guys with Javon Holland, JP, AVG, and then eventually these young guys are going to start needing contracts, and then that's before we even start looking at the offensive side of the ball. So am I really going to be upset with Mike McDaniels if all of a sudden the first year, I knew I fucked it up, Mike McDaniel. If all of a sudden his first year he's winning 6 or 7 games because he couldn't build an O-line or his running backs are still shit or Tua gets hurt, like that to me is why I wouldn't have those expectations. To me, it's just a progress, a growth, a starting of a culture with Mike McDaniel, and progressing to eventually getting that either next year or the year after, bro, to be honest.
Kendall, you've been awfully quiet a little bit, so I want to get your thoughts on anything there. I know you also like being the Debbie Downer, so want to get your thoughts there.
I would refer to it as a realist.
Randy the realist took over.
What was the question? What was the question again, sir?
Well, Juan is more so talking about how, quote, he is going to be the Debbie Downer. Let me actually get the actual
expectation.
I'll be the Debbie Downer of the group. And I say it as if I don't like being it, which is Juan Cardona himself. You also love to kind of tag team there with Juan as the, quote, realist of the group. So what are your thoughts, I guess, to be the Debbie Downer side of things?
20 years of mediocrity, bro. I'm not steering away from what I've seen over these years. That man, the team is shit. It's always been shit. But, I'm expecting him to come in and make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? That's my expectation. Because you let a coach that won 2.
Sorry, that makes it get to a hip.
What part of the salary cap do we allocate to getting him a hip?
$35 million.
Man, go get him some quarterback competition. That's what y'all need to go get.
I know somebody with $100K to spare.
So, Kendall, continue what you were saying.
Nah, man. His expectations is playoffs, bro. You let a coach that had 2 winning seasons for the first time in 17, 18 years. Yep. I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing 19. None of this. Thank you, my brother. Let's be accurate when we talking about the accomplishments of another brother. So you let that go out the door. So you know what I'm saying? Because he was a meanie, like my man Juan always says. He couldn't collaborate with people, so you fired Flores. Cool. He was 1 game away from making the playoffs. This new guy that's coming in, Mr. Who, Mike Jones, if he don't make the playoffs, I'm on his ass too. Because, bro, why should I move my expectations? This was a winning team 2 years in a row.
Agreed. Bro.
And what we've been missing on, huh?
First 20 years.
20 years. Well, even let's keep dropping them up.
19, but it's the first time in 20 years.
Yeah, so
the first time in 20 seasons.
We gotta. It's playoffs or bust. If he don't make the playoffs, it's questions got to be asked. And I know for one thing that offense better be better than it was in 2020.
So quickly here, per Peter Schrager, Mike McDaniel, and I'll bring it up here. Actually, let me bring it up before I read this because I want everyone to get involved in the fun. Mike McDaniel won't necessarily hire a new defensive coordinator. Josh Boyer will very much be in consideration if
Double M.
The McVay/Wade Phillips or LaFleur/Mike Pettin route of pairing an ex-head coach as his DC. There's been questions around the NFL whether Vic Fangio would want to be a defensive coordinator again in 2022. I'm guessing off this news from Peter Schrager that if he's bringing Vic Fangio into the conversation, then that means that it's been spoken about or maybe floated around in interviews. Anyone else? I guess Jacob, really quick, I'll do you on that. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because I feel like you don't tweet that out unless that was floated out in interviews and you get some information from there.
Right. The defense is obviously the talented part of this team. They got a ton of first round picks on that team. Vic Fangio, I mean, yeah, like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I see the defensive coordinator remaining in Miami. I mean, obviously, there's always a possibility that doesn't happen. But I just, in my opinion, I don't think you touch the defensive coordinator.
So you're staying with Josh Boyer. You're not moving off that at all. And then just to bring this up, CK saying that he's told that McDaniel, his agent, also represents Vic Fangio. So that's why I asked the question on potentially if this was floated around in interviews.
Yeah. I do stick with him. Obviously, like Vic Fangio, also another very qualified candidate. But you also go back even to my, like, against my point, like the first half of the season, the defense did not look totally lost in the opposite of what it looked the second half of the season. So you could always point to that. But I think you stick with the DC.
I want to add to that.
Go ahead.
I hear what you're saying, Jacob, but nah, because it's like, let Mike McDaniel come in here and do whatever he wants. Because at the end of the season, I don't want to have to point nowhere, but right at him. Like, because
that's a very valid point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day,
I will be pointing at a certain
single-digit
quarterback.
No, him too. But they kind of conjoined because supposedly last staff and stuff was holding him back and wasn't doing enough to help him and whatnot, schemes, this and that. Like, so let this guy come in and do whatever the hell he want. Like his staff, his quarterback, everything, bro. Because at the end of the day, if we don't make the playoffs, I want to look at one man, and that's two men, Tua and Mike McDaniel.
I got a question, and it's just for the whole panel. How confident are you guys in Boyer? Like, is he the real deal to you guys?
Threat. Are you asking if Brian Flores actually contributed to this team? Is that?
That's what it sounds like.
Because I know
I've been led to believe differently.
I've been led to be because people are saying, Flores said he doesn't call the plays. And,
he doesn't. He's not even good. He
does.
Anybody could do it. I'm on the same page with you. If we're just gonna say Josh Boyer is gonna come in here and just run it like everything's fine, then all right, cool. Brian Flores sucked. But if we see a chink in the armor, if we see all of a sudden 30 points being scored on the regular, who are we gonna look at? Who are we gonna put the blame on? And listen, it's gonna be either Chris Greer or Mr. TT4G, whatever that means.
I think you look at the defense and you're like, okay, what's gonna happen with the defense? But I think the first priority it has to be the offense. Like the defense comes second at this point. I think the offense is what we really need to be looking at because the offense needs to be fixed before we could really start talking about the defense.
I'm one that if you're gonna go out there and get Vic Fangio, I'm fine with that. Like I think that exactly how Kendall said it. I think Royal mentioned it earlier. Juan, you've been on that. I think Threat, you might have talked about it as well a little bit. It's just you're gonna hire him, you let him come in here and decide his staff. Like I get the frustration with the staff hires by Brian Flores, and I think if you're the Dolphins, you have to put that in the rearview window, and you just have to not even look at it. You let him hire his own staff. You don't force any staff on him. If it means letting go of Josh Boyer, if it means letting go of Gerald Alexander, as much as it would hurt to let go of those two guys who have been popular names with the Dolphins over the past few seasons and who have grown under the Flores style of defense, and then that's what it is, type of thinking. You let him come in and you let him hire his own staff. I think forcing staff on him is a poor decision.
If you're trying to saddle McDaniel with an experienced head coach, then if you're trying to saddle him with an experienced head coach, that means that you're worried about his coaching experience, which means you're already starting 10 steps behind. So if you you should have just went out and got an experienced head coach if you value that so much. But to saddle him with an experienced head coach,
I'll because I will say this, I my hope, if in the scenario that Brian Flores was going to continue to be the head coach of the Miami Dolphins, is that they would have done to him the same thing that we're talking about doing to McDaniels, where the other side of the ball is handled by an experienced head coach, to kind of help guide it, bro. To me, those are kind of like the best partnerships, like McVay with Wade Phillips, McVay with Brandon Staley before he became an imbecile and went to the Chargers. I think that those are the best partnerships. It's just hard to maintain that, right? And you got to have a plan of succession, because if Vic Fangio comes out here and he does what we or some expect to happen, then I don't think he's going to be here for that much longer. He's going to be trying to definitely get a head coaching position, and then it's about handling the churn of all the staff.
We hired a coach in Javon Hollins out here tweeting about Demon Slayer. Juan, that's your guy.
That is my dude, bro. I made a whole highlight tape of him, bro. Like, and he's just showing me why I love him even more.
You did make a highlight tape on him. You can find on the Extra Yard YouTube channel. And again, if you want to continue to see streams like this, especially from the Extra Yard and any other 5-hour live episodes that go live here, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can get all of that goodness. Any other thoughts of maybe some veterans that we can bring into the equation here? I guess one of the things that has been talked about, I think someone might have tweeted, or not tweeted, commented as well. That was one of my concerns with Kellen Moore, as much as I would have been fine with it, especially considering he is a lefty, Tua is a lefty. If you're going to have him be the guy that's going to be there in 22, maybe that's a perfect fit in that situation. He's only been coaching for 3 years, and McDaniel has been around for the past 15 years. So that's one of the things that I kind of was on with that. Do you guys think that maybe it came down to that between we heard all of he's the favorite no matter what, but Jacob, I'll throw it to you. Do you think that it came down to the fact that they looked at the potential staffs that might be coming in and some guys that they were able to zero in on, and McDaniel just had the more experienced staff?
Yeah, I think this is obviously not proven or anything, but like in my opinion, what happened was they interviewed McDaniel for 9 hours. That was reported, 9-hour interview, which is
10.
crazy. 10 hours?
I'm mistaken. Yeah, I believe so.
It's 9 or 10. I don't know, but that's just insane.
I think it was 9.5.
All right, 9.5, 9 3/4, 10. I think it did come down to the resume. Like Kellen Moore, I think he was always the third one on the list behind Dable and McDaniel the whole time. I think did his interview even get considered at that point because McDaniel blew the Miami Dolphins out of the water? That's also a thought. But I think McDaniel was the second or first choice the entire time between Dable and McDaniel. Obviously, Dable went to the Giants, but I think he was always on the top of Miami's list.
9 hours and 37 minutes. Apparently,
I do feel like maybe he was the option number one because they weren't necessarily looking for a head coach. They were like what beat writer said, they're looking for an OC with a head coach tag label under it. If they're handcuffing them to Tua and Boyer possibly, then I really don't think they were really looking for a headstrong head coach. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's just my opinion.
On that note, and thank you to Kendall for bringing this up to my attention as well. Barry Jackson has tweeted that his understanding is that the Dolphins management would welcome McDaniel to keep much of the defensive staff together, but aren't requiring it. Boyer will and should get consideration to stay. So I guess the Peter Schrager tweet is essentially saying what Alf had mentioned a little bit below there as well, that it will most likely be Boyer. Vic Fangio. So on that note,
Kai couldn't get to me fast enough to tell me not to put it up.
I guess that's what it's going to end up being. Like I don't think, and so, again, sorry to cut you off there, right? I don't think that they're going to, I guess, force him to keep defensive staff on, and they'll want him to, that they'll let him pick. And you're fine with that, I'm assuming. Threat.
I'm giddy.
Oh shit, my fault. I didn't know you was up. What was the question? My fault.
Just like, I guess per that tweet, if it is true, what Barry Jackson is saying, that they will let him pick his own staff, although they would want to keep most of it, they'll let him go and do his own thing. I'm assuming that's good in your book, as you mentioned, kind of handicapping him to, or forcing people on him, letting him breathe and pick his own staff is most important.
Definitely. You got to let that boy cook, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to bring the ingredients, let him cook. Let him cook. Let him be the chef. I feel like he could put a strong staff together, mainly because he has that NFL experience that Kellen Moore lacked. I really feel like that's the difference between them two. You know what I'm saying? 15-3. So if you're going to let him be the head coach, then let him cook, please. Let him bring in his guys. Let him do what he's got to do, because everybody's ready to point the finger at who to blame, and he's got to be able to, you know what I'm saying? He
wants to say, I'm gonna go down with my guys, and
Exactly.
if it happens, it happens.
We were talking about Fangio and the other and Boyer. What about a duo defensive coordinator?
You son of a bitch.
Oh, God.
Go on. I mean,
listen, bro. I think if we went a duo DC route, I think ultimately by the end of the year, Mike McDaniel might just be calling the plays either way. So I mean, who knows? It might
Where Colin was wrong.
Give me Wink Martindale, bro. That man applies pressure in Baltimore. That's all he was known for.
Where is he? He's supposed to have.
He was interviewing with the Giants.
Giants.
Because Patrick Graham was supposedly interviewing with the Raiders.
I think he got it. I think
he officially won.
Yeah, I think he.
I remember a time when Patrick Graham leaving the Dolphins for the Giants during the same role as an indictment of Brian Flores, but now he's doing the same from the Giants too.
Well,
I guess that doesn't mean anything about Brian Dable. It's never mind.
Patrick Graham's credit. I guess to his love of the Giants, that is really what played into it. Is that his dream job was to be a coach of the New York Giants. I guess he doesn't want to be a coach under Brian Dable.
He fulfilled his dream.
I guess he doesn't want to be a coach under Brian Dable because, according to Tom Pelissero, the Raiders will hire Patrick Graham as their defensive coordinator. So he will be gone, and he will be with the Las Vegas Raiders.
So all right, let me ask you guys something real quick though. We all agree O-line has to get hammered out. If McDaniel says he wants to pay Brandon Sheriff $18 million a year, how does that make you feel?
Fine.
Kai?
Yes, I'm sorry.
How does that make you feel?
Could you repeat the question? I was watching a funny video on Twitter about Mike McDaniel being biracial.
Mike McDaniel comes in and said he's down to pay Brandon Sheriff $18 million a year.
18?
Do it.
That's per Spotrac.
You know what's crazy, and you know what's so funny, Juan Cardona, Jonathan?
What?
It's almost as if we have the same brain.
Oh my gosh!
Because I meant to bring it up a little bit earlier.
Freaky,
not Brandon Sheriff specifically, but bring up the topic of offensive line free agents that are there. Alpha's saying that he's a bad fit.
No, and he may well be a bad fit. I was just looking at like the top guy and what Spotrac has him like potentially having. And I'm just curious how we're gonna feel about McDaniel making his. Well, no, not making his decision, but swinging his dick around and saying what I want. Like, like if he wants to pay $18 million for a guard, who are we to say no, right?
I mean, $18 million.
You start Austin Jackson at guard, Kai.
You might be right. However,
I'm
no,
definitely
he
right.
is right. We finished the year starting a motherfucking named Austin Jackson.
We've had this conversation too many. We've had this conversation too many times for you to be getting cold feet now. You need to go get.
I'm a little shocked.
You go get experienced offensive lineman instead of this experiment that you've been trying out there with young guys and trying to mix it up. You need to go get proven talent on that offensive line, and you need to spend to go get it.
I'm not having cold feet here. I am just of the opinion that there aren't many offensive line free agents that I'm just going to throw a boatload of money at. Like, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not going to throw about Teron,
to be honest. I'm not down to throw him the bag.
Brandon Sheriff. I'm not going to go out there and sell the farm for Teron Armstead.
I wouldn't do it for
I
Sheriff
know
either.
that Armstead is going to be someone that's going to be great if he's on the field. Like, that's just what the situation is, and I'm not.
He's going to be better than Jesse Davis if he's off the field. Like I don't care. Like that's where I believe
that's the name I like right here. ROO whatever. I don't know what his name is. ROO, but
how about we start with firing John Pierre first?
Lakin Tomlinson.
There's a lot of names that I like, man. Along the offensive line from left tackle to center to right tackle. I mean,
Ryan
you got
Jensen.
you
There's
got Jensen, Kelsey Paradise. At right tackle, you got Morgan Moses.
Paredes.
Whatever. However you say it, whatever. Left tackle, you might want to go Trent Brown, Cam Robinson, Charles Leno. There's
There
a
are names
couple.
that you can definitely go out and get, but I don't know that like I would go out there and just automatically throw a boatload of money.
Here's the thing: you got 70 mil, and
Do it for Kelsey.
and I think like 40% of the squad here is with not bringing Gesicki back. So I think it's like, where are you gonna spend this money, bro? You gotta spend it, bro.
Yeah, bro. Listen, I'm with throwing all the money at offensive line for this team because, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm fine with the skill position that they already have here. I mean, say for Tua, like who I'm starting. I'm at the same point as most people are. Like I'm one of those middle of the line Tua guys. I'm not anti Tua. I'm not pro Tua. I just don't know. I just don't know what he is. Like it's like, and I want to see what that is. So.
Me too.
When you got this offensive line, except Jesse Davis, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro.
but yeah, like I'm with throwing all the money that you want at free agent offensive linemen. I don't want any more of these young guys out here. I want experienced offensive linemen where you know what they're going to get. Yes, they may have an injury history, but like they said earlier, Trent Williams had an injury history, and he's been phenomenal for us.
He had cancer, and he. Just real quick, Trent Williams had cancer, and he still called the Washington football team cancerous. So, like, shows you how bad they are over there.
Which one?
Rapoport, by the way, is.
Kai, did you see that new Ian Rapoport tweet?
Yes, I'm about to bring it up right now. Ian Rapoport just tweeted, Mike McDaniel has interest in keeping many of the defensive assistants currently under contract, including Josh Boyer. So, who knows what'll happen, but it's not saying he will. It's just saying that he does have interest.
I think it's a nice way to make it seem like he's giving everybody a fair chance. But
I would also say that Omar Kelly is reporting that they will pursue Vic Fangio for defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I was gonna say it feels like a bunch of fluff of like, we're gonna try to keep our guys because they're all signed. There's no trying to keep them. It's just coming into the building and working with them. But I mean,
it's
if
just
he
the
wants
key
his
cards
guys,
not working.
Yeah, no, exactly. But again, if you want your guys, by all means, swing that thing and say, I want my guys. But like, don't feel pressured. Don't feel inclined to, Mr. Ross and, a certain head coach before, walked out of a meeting with a quarterback and it created a problem. Like, I just want
They'll come in with beta vibes.
Yeah, bro. Come in with alpha, mentality and say, I want this guy, I need this guy. This guy got to go. Hey, look,
you got to be
I know
careful.
we spent all year, bashing Lem. If Mike McDaniel comes in and says, I need that guy to coach the O-line, who the fuck am I to tell him no? Who am I to tell him he's stupid or he's wrong or whatever it may be? Like, just let him make his own decisions and we'll live with the results.
It seems like we do have the contradictory reporting. So Omar Kelly and it seems like the Sun Sentinel are running with the fact that the Dolphins will pursue Fangio, while others like Ian Rapoport are saying
careful
that
around mommy's computer. Move your train.
In keeping Josh Boyer on as defensive coordinator. And maybe Vic Fangio can bring a train of great defense to the Miami Dolphins and continue to have that stand. If that is the case, Juan.
That was great fathering right there, y'all.
Facts.
If it was the case, and Juan, I know you are someone who is big on defense. I mentioned a little bit earlier. Are you more comfortable knowing that Vic Fangio is going to be the guy that will continue to steer the defense if he is the one brought in? And would you be less, I guess, excited if Josh Boyer is kept on?
I would actually prefer Boyer just because right now I know how these guys were coached to play 3-4s and predominantly 3-down linemen, whereas Vic is more of a 4-down, speed pass rushers, not necessarily 2-gap guys. So is a guy like Raekwon Davis going to automatically translate to a 3 technique, 4-3 defensive tackle? Like, I don't know. Are we going to all of a sudden scrap JP with his, hand off the dirt and just make him a traditional, five technique defensive end. I don't know. That also starts to change, like with linebackers. Is Jerome Baker all of a sudden going to be a weak side linebacker, or is he going to be our middle linebacker? And then who's going to play strong side? Like it creates a lot more question marks, in my opinion, with a Vic Fangio, because as much as I know he's going to come in and know what he's doing, there's still going to be some turn as far as which pieces before are going to continue to grow, and which ones might take a step back. Like I would hate for somebody like Vic Fangio to come in and all of a sudden you see somebody like Zach Sealer disappear, or somebody like Christian Wilkins, who just had a career year, all of a sudden look mid, and it's like, oh well, what are we doing with these guys who we're drafting? And it's like, nah, bro, it's the change of a coaching system.
For what it's worth, and if you do trust the source itself, Bobby Thompson is tweeting that Mike McDaniel, quote, believes in Tua. I know we've seen this tweet before, but he tweeted Mike McDaniel believes in Tua Tagovailoa and will center the offense around his strengths.
That's gross.
And then Schefter just said, sorry to cut you off, Schefter said the contract with McDaniel's 4 years.
Damn, they couldn't even give my dog a whole 5?
I wonder why.
They telling him, look, you got a year of Tua, a year of your guy, and you better figure it out by then.
Do you feel like he needs to bring in one of his guys this year?
I would.
Absolutely.
I was going to throw in Threat, because I know you mentioned for sure the handicapping of Tua on if you bring someone in, although, quote, he wants to.
If he only has 4 years, I'm clearing out anything that I don't want immediately.
Absolutely. I don't have time to play games
right now.
Like literally, I'm trading for Jimmy G if that's who I want, and I'm telling Tua, hey, look, no hard feelings. I ain't draft you. Beat him out. We good. If you can't beat him out, bro, I'm sorry. I'm going with Jimmy G, and I'm trying to win games. Like there's no year of tanking. There's no we're gonna lose games to get better picks. Like, nah, bro. Like they're not giving Mike McDaniels that opportunity that weirdly enough, Brian Flores got in 2019. There's expectations. There's things that need to get accomplished. There's players here that need to continue to grow and ball out. And there's certain guys that we need to find out more of, and that kind of starts and ends with Tua.
Although oh, my fault. Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just gonna quickly say, and then I'll let you go. I'll let you go as well. I can't remember exactly who it was. Marcel Luis Jaquez from, I believe he's with the Hair. No, he's on ESPN. Excuse me. Sorry, he's the new guy that they brought in from Buffalo. He is also tweeting that he would not be shocked if Miami targeted Wes Welker. So
I would like that.
That is something that is also being tweeted. But Threat, I'll pass it off to you again.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, Wes Welker was also a name that I liked for the staff. I actually told Kendall that a couple hours before the show. But seeing what we know now, with the reports that they're saying what Jimmy G would potentially cost, are you guys in on that? I mean, I feel like there's a cheaper alternative.
What was it? A 3rd round pick?
Well, it said either Jimmy for a second or Jimmy.
Jimmy
for a third and a player.
Let's play this scenario, right?
Bad, but
Mike McDaniel is going to call either Kyle Shanahan or he's going to call Lynch. It's going to be like, bruh, I know you trying to start your 3rd overall pick that you send the house for. I need a guy. What's a 4th? What's a conditional 5th? And connections, you get that shit done, and then you bring them in, and whatever happens, bro. But I can't go through another Tannehill situation where we're terrified to bring this man in some decent competition, and we got beat writers banging their fist down for freaking Matt Moore. Like I need somebody who's gonna legitimately give him competition, legitimately push him, and make this something where you want to succeed and you see it from him.
But who are you gonna just? I guess you mentioned having people.
We just paid Jacoby $12 million to fuck up a season. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll pay $16, $17 million for Jimmy G to potentially just sit there and collect, I guess.
So you're willing to pay Jimmy Garoppolo just to be there? You're willing to pay him just to kind of sit there and just be?
No, absolutely. Because right now, Tua's rookie contract isn't as a benefit as we all initially thought it was going to be. Right now, we're still in the coping and trying to figure out what he is, instead of trying to build a team like the Bengals or the Chargers are right now, where They have a rookie QB on a rookie contract, and they're saying, all right, we're going to get him an all-pro center. We're going to get him a left tackle, get him an all-pro, all-time great wide receiver in Jamar Chase. But, it's just, to me, it's just, build a guy, look, 22, 25 mil, like, who else is going to pay him that? Who else is going to pay him that?
The Pittsburgh Steelers is probably the one that you immediately think of.
So then if you're expecting playoffs, you would want to pay a guy that to potentially get you there.
Yeah, my thing is not just for me.
You're just gonna punt on Tua like that after 2
How is that a
Kendall.
punt though? I'm legitimately I'm bringing him competition. If he can't beat him, then I'm sorry. Then yeah, I am gonna.
He's not good enough. That's what I'm saying too. And my thing, why Jimmy G's name is here is because I've been pushing it because y'all been pushing Mike McDaniel, and the dots just connect.
Facts.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why I've been saying his name so much. I mean, you get a Gardner Minshew. Like you got to get somebody in here that's respectable or less.
The thing with Minshew for me though, he's young enough to where like that he'll make this a controversy. Like to me, Jimmy G is just a stopgap that is just like a prove it. Like, okay, look, you can't be Jimmy G, bro. Like,
I don't care. First, personally, bro, I don't care about none of that controversy because I don't even get caught up in what people be saying anyways because I have my own thoughts. And I just know that man needs something. He needs some competition, bro. Like, it's just Jimmy is the easy one because of his contract and where they stand. He stands right now with Trey Lance coming on. And I mean, and he knows McDaniel's system. Like, personally, I don't care about his contract, like whatever his tag is. Like, just get competition in the building. You have to put a threat. You gotta like what pressure make diamonds or coal? Like, so it's like either Tua gonna turn into the diamond everybody think he is or can be, or he gonna fold under pressure. Like, which we've seen him do already. So it's like, is the trend gonna continue even with the changed circumstances around him? Or is he gonna, put his big boy pants on and do what he gotta do?
Roy Shepard, I know you are currently doing daddy duty, but could you spare us? You're muted.
$4.99 donut. Uh-oh.
There you go. I got you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Kendall Campbell, for the $4.99 dono. Jimmy G is not getting us to a Super Bowl. If he couldn't take the 49ers, it ain't happening. Tua ain't getting to no Super Bowl either, but y'all be out here all on his
to the playoffs.
If we're really here, Jimmy
Yo, you
G,
get me to an NFC
Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say you get me deep into the playoffs twice.
Thank you, Kendall.
I mean, I don't got too many complaints.
Just to reiterate something as well, just because it seems that this might be the path that is going to end up happening. Benjamin Albright, whether you want to believe him or not, also tweeting out, and he's big in the Broncos area. Wouldn't be surprised to see former Broncos head coach Vic Fangio in play for the Miami defensive coordinator.
He said that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I would be inclined to believe that more than most because
he is in the Denver area. As much as people do not like Benjamin Albright and they have their issues with him, he is literally based in Denver. So that it is what it is there for that one.
I would take 2 mil a year old linemen, Alf. Hands down. Wouldn't even think about it. My hate for Tua doesn't go that deep.
The thing I think with the Tua stuff is like, and something that we're ignoring and Threat, I guess, to get your thoughts on this too, just because I brought it up earlier and it is kind of true. Where Mike McDaniel has gone, the quarterbacks have elevated in whatever the system is, whether it's masking their flaws, which you would want a coach to do either way. You want to have a coach that's going to come in and immediately is going to make the quarterback be better than they were before. Taking away what we've seen from Tua and trying to already, deem him a bust like Kendall, like Juan, do we think that there's a chance, Threat, that Mike McDaniel can come in and be the guy that's going to make this happen? For Tua specifically.
I was a big Tua stan, dog. I'm gonna just say that now. I was Tua'd all the way out. And I just needed him to show me something. I didn't want the best stats. I didn't want the most amazing stats. I wanted him just to show me something that I could hold my hat on for the next season. At this point in time, I'm not sure if Mike McDaniel can bring that out of him. And as far as the Mike McDaniel history with his quarterbacks, who are we really attributing that to? Is it him or somebody else?
I don't know. I saw Jake Plummer's name on there, and I just I couldn't.
It's a legitimate. I understand.
No, I get what you're saying, Kai.
Towards Tua, but it is a legitimate question. I
No,
understand that everyone wants to deem
to me,
players
there's
certain
two
things,
different
but
types of coaching, right? Like there's the ones that are like Kyle Shanahan, McDaniels, that they make a mid quarterback somehow win and be good. And then there's like the Adam Gases who have like an all-time great quarterback and somehow find a way to win. And it's like, well, let's hire them. I prefer McDaniel. I prefer to see him kind of hide what would be warts as far as like Tua's play. But I think no matter how much we want him to be able to hide Tua or fix Tua or whatever it is going to happen, Tua is going to have to be the guy to put a step forward. Tua is going to have to be the guy to shut everybody up. Tua is going to have to be the guy to shut me and Kendall up. Like it's on him, bro.
I have no problem being wrong.
100%.
I think
I
that's
love
what
being
gets-
wrong. I'm more wrong than right. But I want to be wrong about Tua, but I feel like I'm not gonna end up being wrong.
I think that one thing that you guys both just mentioned is something that I think all five of us, even Royal being the fan of the team that won 2 Super Bowls with 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterback play, we want to be wrong. Like, we want Tua to be the guy. You invested a number 5 overall pick. For what it's worth, you went 5-11. Like, there are issues that you've seen with the Dolphins, and you want Tua to be the guy. I don't think that we're all wishing for him to not succeed. Am I right there? I want to ask Kendall specifically because I know you're probably the biggest Tua hater in the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So I want to ask that specifically.
I take offense to that.
I think Kendall trumps you. I'll be real with that. I think Kendall trumps you.
And now we're talking about Trump.
I don't like, bro. Yeah, it's wild times. Biden's America 2022. No, I don't want to see the man fail. Like, what kind of Dolphins fan would I be?
Well, you know what? It seems like that's the theme, is that everyone thinks that if you don't think that Tua is
but like,
god,
all right, okay, but like
fail.
Kyle, let's think big picture.
Then they're idiots.
If me and Kendall
are
just stupidly wrong, like moronically, like completely just brain dead, we have a quarterback who could potentially get us to a Super Bowl. If we're right, well, fuck it. We're just right back in misery of the last 2 decades. Like I just don't know why people just don't live like this. Like, I feel like living like a Tua stan is like so much more mental stress than I could even like fathom. Like, I don't have the coping mechanism to like do mental gymnastics three times a day.
Think of the avenues you got
to
go
figure out
through
per game stats for him. Like, I can't.
You got to go through like
they are Tua haters.
Yeah, I mean, you could call me one, like, because I hate what the fuck I've been seeing from him. So like, I guess I'm a Tua hater, but it's like, bro, like, we haven't seen enough to like hang our hat on, like Threat said, bro. Like, we've gotten to like big games. Like last year, Buffalo, I didn't even hold it against them. I was like, okay, I get it, you're a rookie. But bro, we was right there. We had the playoffs right there. And I said, like, when he came back from injury, I said, he has a chance to rewrite the whole narrative and really like take over and say, yeah, Tua is the reason that we won. Like, yeah, the schedule got lighter, but you play who you play. It's like, and then when it comes to me saying, Tua, because Tua was a 5th. No, Tua was a 5th overall pick. This network and many other people push tank for Tua and saying that Tua was this type of savior, when it was like, look at where he came from, bro.
And also because Kendall is clearly a bigger Dolphins fan than he is Heat fan. Like, it's not even a question.
True that too.
It really is.
And also, bro, it's like, and I just get tired of seeing this fan base shit on a guy up in New England, Mac Jones, and I think he mid too. But you'll turn around and say Tua this, Tua that, Tua. Like, no. When they the same coin, just a different side. Like, I'm not gonna let that shit slide. I'm gonna push back on that.
And I like a good give and take with people, but I didn't know the Dolphins fans had it like that.
What's crazy is, you know what? Just to speak on Kendall was on the Tua train before, like, before the season. This season,
he wasn't on the tank for Tua train, but he was on the Tua train.
Yeah, no, I was never with that tank shit. That's loser shit.
No, not the tank, but I'm just saying,
I was a supporter of him.
He was definitely a supporter.
Yeah,
we went to the games live. We saw majority of the games live, and it's just different when you see it Yeah, when
It's different when you see him rolling left and short hopping a pass.
Oh man,
3 feet
I don't
before
know
his
who
teammate.
he is, but we ain't just. I'm not addressing you.
That's Lewis,
Yeah,
Mr. Lewis D. Sung himself.
I don't know why he took that so personal, but this
So,
this network was
I
definitely
guess
pushing him as
I
a
guess
savior.
we'll just go and go around the last kind of table here. I want to thank everybody for kind of tuning in and listening to us both celebrate, argue, talk about some Debbie Downer stuff here. Any last comments? We'll go around. I'll start with you, Mr. Royal A. Shepherd.
No, I'm kind of with Mike McDaniel the same way that I am with Tua. I want to see these guys succeed here. Whether or not I believe that is a completely different story. I know y'all hear Encanto in the background, but
that's my jam, bro. They got Encanto got that soundtrack for life, bro.
Yeah, that's my son's favorite movie right now. But
Man with taste.
right, I want to see them both succeed. I want the Dolphins to do well. Do I believe that's going to happen this year? I don't think so. I just don't think Mike McDaniel is experienced enough. But hopefully I'm proven wrong. I'm with Kendall. I want to be wrong about these things. So I'll defer to the rest of you guys' knowledge in terms of the X's and O's and how this shit's going to play out.
Threat.
I want Mike McDaniel to succeed. Ultimately, I think we're gonna be a decent team.
I won't do it. The integrity of the game.
I think we're gonna be a decent team, man. I think he's inheriting a good defensive squad. I think he just needs to put his X's and O's and hire a good staff to get the ball rolling, and I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be a playoff team. I'm high on McDaniel. I'm kind of off the Tua train, but if he succeeds, then please, by all means, succeed. I'm rooting for you, bro. I want everybody to win at the end of the day. It's hard waking up to be a hater, but I do it effortlessly sometimes. So.
I may have to take that, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be saying that twice a week now.
I try keeping my cool, but dude.
Hey man, that combined with the pineapple pizza Tate Martell. Hey, Tate Martell just started business school right now, bro. Like he might be at the Stephen Ross
sitting on the bench.
He at the Stephen Ross School of Business out there in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Oh my god, bro.
What was the question again, man? Because y'all boys spitting. And shout out to Ben because that was savage.
Yo, for real, shout out to Ben. Just any last final comments on the hiring of Mike McDaniel?
You're gonna have to say that again, bro.
Any final comments on the hiring of Mike McDaniel?
All right, get to work. Make it happen. Like, do what you gotta do, get your staff, make the moves you want to make, and you know what I'm saying? I'm not finna cheer and pom-pom it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how this fan base tooting ass for Mike McDaniel. I know like, you've been the leader of it, and that's not a shot at you personally, you know what I'm saying? But it's kind of crazy. I get the his personality and stuff. Like let
me be a cult leader, okay? Look, I might
listen. We're gonna be watching Pineapple
I just
Express
don't understand
together.
it because at the end of the day, it's still the Dolphins. Them boys let you down, bro.
Listen,
like,
if he's right, I'm giving Kai all the credit for Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude,
Yeah, he been on it heavy since that boy said who Mike Jones.
Yeah, like
I've been
that
on
was
that since the literally no bullshit. When they were going through the people they're gonna interview, I was like, "Who the fuck is Mike McDaniel?" I'm looking through, and I just saw one video of him cursing and an actual video of him talking about the wide receiver blocking thing. As soon as he said, "I'm not a something fuck coach," I was like, "Yep, that's my guy."
That sounds kind of mean.
Is he a meanie?
Nah, I don't know, man. He just said that he's not a. I can't
we'll
remember.
Find out in 3 years.
Wait, can you be a meanie and still be like?
Oh, actually,
okay to work with?
Was he said that he's not?
We'll find out.
It depends on how you look.
Okay.
He said him and Kyle Shanahan aren't motherfuck coaches. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, they
and
fuck
as soon
for
as
sure.
he said that, I was like, "Yep, that's my guy." So, any Juan last words?
Nah, bro. I think we got who we wanted, quote unquote, right? It's just time, right? It's time to work. It's time to grind. Senior Bowl just passed us. Pretty soon, free agency is gonna come. Then the draft, mini camps come, and then listen, it's time to it's time to grind. It's time to see what we got with Mike McDaniel. It's time to see what we got with Tua. It's time to see what we got with this O-line, with the running backs, with anybody who we add. We finally took that first step into this offseason to where now we can actually begin to formulate any type of plan or a concept to what we expect the 2022 Miami Dolphins to be. And I'm just excited that we're able to discuss it, and moving forward, we'll be able to trash it or not, depending on how it goes.
All right, so thank you guys so much for coming out.
No. Wait, Kai, we still didn't get your final thoughts on this whole situation, bro.
Yeah, this is your time to shine.
Yeah, I mean, you've been hosting the whole time. You got another host
it.
here with you, bro. Go ahead, bro. Give us your thoughts on the game, bro.
I'm about to. I'm gonna give my thoughts on the game. The Heat suck. So,
jeez, guy. We trying to give you your flowers. You just going out swinging, bro.
Bitch,
give me your thoughts on the game. Those are my thoughts. So, no, I mean, I refuse. I'm getting my words out. I won't be taken down. I won't be. What's it called? Who's the dude that got overthrown in Greece? I don't know. There's a bunch of them. Look. I'm very happy for Mike McDaniel being the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Of course, I will be yelled at if he fails. I will be celebrated if he succeeds. I've already had multiple people text me because I've been pushing this propaganda both at my place of work and everywhere.
Pushing
This man is out here shitting where he.
You've been pushing P at work?
Unbelievable, man.
I have been pushing all the propaganda possible. So
pushing P, baby.
I'm very happy. I'm very excited. I hope that we finally get something out of this Miami Dolphins organization that we can win. Of course, this introductory press conference, whenever it is, will be very interesting, assuming that all parties are there. That is it for 5 Hour Live. I hope you guys enjoyed it very much. And I roll the video, Royal. I'm going to let you do it.
Oh, I had got off of it because of my...